On one hand, I feel like I did a ton of exploring this year, and I did a ton of like discovering my teaching style, what curriculum I like best for my kids, what activities I like best, what routines work best for our family, how many activities is possible for our family. Spoiler alert, I tried to add way too many. And just, you know, figuring out, do I want to do classical conversations? Do I want to do like a Charlotte Mason homeschool group? Do I want to just like get together with a friend and do science experiments just with my best friend and her kids? Like, what do I want to do? And what curriculum do I want to use? I did so much exploring and I learned so much. And I think that was just one of those things where you have to just boots on the ground, you know, figure it out yourself. You're not going to be able to really learn that from a YouTube video necessarily. You need to just figure it out for yourself. So on one hand, I'm so glad that I spent this year experimenting and figuring things out. On the other hand, I feel kind of guilty, like I'm messing up my kids or something. I'm sure every homeschool mom probably goes through this where they're like, oh no, am I enough for my kids? Am I messing them up? Am I destroying their education? Like, I picked the wrong curriculum. Everything's over for them now in their second grade year of life, you know, their second grade year of education. So I think that probably a lot of homeschool moms can feel that way and feel that stress and everything, but I don't know. On one hand, I do worry that I messed some things up in all of this exploring this year. So hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am a homeschooling mom of 4 kids, ages 16, 8, 5, and 3. We have some new homeschool pets. So I'll share about that little change. That's a little update to our schoolroom and to our, you know, classroom pet situation. So I have a lot to update you guys on. If you've been watching me, if you're not new here and you've been watching me for a little while, you know that I have been experimenting with lots of different curriculum and that I have been sharing all about my journey here on this channel. So if you want to know about different types of language arts curriculum, different types of math curriculum, my controversial thoughts on gather round curriculum, on the good and the beautiful curriculum, then definitely check out all of my videos, because I'm pretty honest. I'm pretty brutally honest about how I feel. And I don't know, there's not a ton of other homeschool channels out there that I feel is really brutally honest. I think some of them is from a good heart, like they just don't feel comfortable bashing a curriculum, as some people might call it. I wouldn't call it bashing. I would just call it sharing my honest thoughts and my honest experience with you guys, but I've seen it called that, so I'm fine with it. I'm fine with saying my genuine thoughts. I'm not afraid that they're no longer going to sponsor me if I talk about a certain curriculum, because I'm not really looking for sponsorships. So, you know, this is just me. This is my honest, real thoughts on this channel. So I hope that you guys can appreciate that. And we got my drink. We got my Alani pink slush, one of my favorites. So good. So good. I also have a water, but I always have to show y'all my drinks because I'm a drink girly. So those are my drinks. So we got my drinks here, and we're just going to do like a big update because I haven't posted in a little while. So this is just like a big homeschool update. I have a lot of thoughts, and I've been like kind of spinning, like stressing myself out somewhat with these thoughts. So I think it will be good to get them out for you guys, let you know how things have been going since the last time I posted a video, how curriculum's going. I've got some purchases, some changes, some things to share, and then I just also want to share about like my feelings of guilt with all of these changes I've made and everything. So anyway, let's just get into this video. So, first update, very exciting, our little froggies. So there's 4 of them in there. I hope none of them have died. They hide a lot, but we have 4 froggies. They're all named Froggy. We got these frogs at our playground. So at our local playground where we moved, it's a playground we love. There's many reasons why we moved to this neighborhood, and one of them was we really liked that playground and like the pool and stuff that they have. And we actually have a splash pad, which I just discovered, that we can use our pool tags to get into the splash pad, and I didn't even know that, and I'm so excited. Our neighbors taught me that this week when we went to a birthday party at that splash pad, and now we're probably about to copy them, and Jack's probably gonna have a birthday party at that splash pad. But anyway, so exciting times. But at that playground, there's like little frogs that hide like in the slides and stuff. They just like doing that, I guess. And so my kids have found them in the past and played with them. Well, they finally like wanted to take them home. And so they like begged me, and finally I caved. Normally I said no. Finally I caved, let them take one of the frogs home. They were so excited, like so excited. And we walked there. So the playground's pretty close. So we walk back, Henry's got it in his hand, and he's so excited. And we put it in this like little Tupperware container, and we poke holes in it. And I'm thinking, oh, this frog's gonna die, like honestly. And it's probably pretty bad, but I was just like, it's probably gonna die, which is why I didn't want to take it home in the first place. But he kept it alive. He gave it water. He had me look up like what frogs eat, and gave it like shrimp and different things that frogs might eat. And it stayed alive for like a week until the Easter Bunny came and brought the kids a terrarium. So this is our terrarium, very fancy. We have like a light, ooh, that's hot, a light on top of it for them. Probably supposed to hang this, but we just have it sitting there. And I think this is the perfect spot for them. I love it. I just put it on this like shoe rack thing. I just tipped it on its side and put it on there. I feel like it matches our shelving here, so I think it works. And these frogs are so much fun. So we have like little fruit flies that you don't even have to keep buying the food, because the fruit flies just like lay eggs and multiply, I guess. So they just have the fruit flies in there. We just replace their water. I need to figure out how to clean it. The problem with like cleaning it is that all the fruit flies are gonna like escape into our house. So I need to figure out how to clean it. But we have since collected 3 more frogs that they have found at the park. They want more, but I'm like, I don't know how many can survive in there. I've been sharing about this on my Instagram. So if you want to know like random stuff about our lives, I share on my Instagram stories. I've been sharing about our froggies, and Charlie and I got to witness them like eating the flies a couple of times. That was so fun. They do hide, but they'll come out. And at first I thought they were just gonna hide all the time because I think they're nocturnal, but they will come out. And one trick too to see them is you can like turn off the lights at night, wait a little while and come back, and then you can like see them out. So, but I've seen them during the day too. So anyway, those are our froggies, and it's a really fun, very economical. I mean, we just got, you know, the terrarium and everything, but that was from the Easter Bunny. But the frogs are free because we just catch them at our neighborhood playground, and the fruit flies just, you know, keep laying eggs, I guess. So maybe one day we'll have to replace that, but it doesn't seem to be like, it's not something we're continuously going to buy crickets or, you know, whatever. So it's been a nice class pet. It's a really fun thing to have in our schoolroom. I always thought our dog Winnie would be our class pet. Maybe as she gets a little less crazy and I get this room organized, because she will like eat food out of their hands, our golden retriever Winnie, and she will chew things. If we leave like a crayon or a pencil on the ground, she'll chew it up instantly. So, you know, maybe if I have like some dog toys and some bones in here for her, maybe she won't like devour every little thing we accidentally leave on the ground. I don't know. But another update I will say is we are going to do like a schoolroom makeover. So once we do that makeover this summer, when we take a break from our regular schooling, I will do like a video. Maybe I'll do the makeover. I'll probably film for my cleaning channel. But like just a tour of everything in our organization. I'm going to do a ton of decluttering and organizing because as you can see, it's kind of a wreck in here. I've just kind of let it be because it's almost the end of the school year and I'm tired and I'm just like, whatever. And I know we're going to have to like move everything off of the walls to paint. And so I'm just like, forget it at this point. But We have about 2 more weeks of school left. We're going to start our summer at the beginning of June. And so I'm just going to focus on ending our year as strong as we can, which I'll talk about that in a minute, for the next 2 weeks. And then we will be, I'll start thinking about decluttering, organizing, painting, hanging up our paintings finally, all of that fun stuff. So, one of the froggies is jumping around in there. I don't know if y'all heard that. But yeah, so that's some exciting news, or just like an exciting plan for the summer. And it needs it, guys. Like, it needs it so bad. With all of my experimenting too this year, I feel like we just accumulated so much homeschool stuff that I need to that we're not even using. I need to go through and organize and everything. So let's update on curriculum and why I feel like I failed my kids in some ways. Okay, so we'll start with the main one. That's my 2nd grader. My oldest, he's just been doing online classes. He is going to do classical conversations this next year, and I think that will be really good for him to like get out of the house once a week and like do a full day of school and be like, he has to do like debates, and he has to like present things, and he has to discuss books with his classmates and stuff. So I think that will be really good for him. But besides that, I haven't done a ton of changing for him this year. I think he's okay. But my 2nd grader, there's been a lot of changes. So he started with the Good and the Beautiful for pre-K, kindergarten, first. Yeah. So for 3 years, we did the Good and the Beautiful. And then I just started questioning myself. And I've talked a lot about the Good and the Beautiful, so go watch those videos. But so for 2nd grade, instead of doing the Good and the Beautiful this year, we started off with Logic of English. I kind of regret that decision. We did Logic of English. I wasn't loving it. Felt like it was too much for me to organize and too much for me to figure out when I have all these other kids and a household to run. And it's just, for me personally, I'm sure there are people out there that are so organized and everything that they would have no problem doing Logic of English. And we did it and it was fine, but I just think that since he was doing, the Good and the Beautiful's phonics instruction and learning to read, and he was doing well with that I think if we had just stuck with it, I kind of wonder if he would be at a better spot in reading now. Now, I can't say that for sure. So we started off with Logic of English at the beginning of this year, and then I wasn't loving it, and so we switched to All About Reading, which I have videos on this. And then All About Reading felt like a lot too, and just the lessons felt just like kind of like we were getting into the weeds a little bit too much. And as I did All About Reading, I started to realize how similar it was to the Good and the Beautiful. Yet the Good and the Beautiful is very streamlined and simple and not in the weeds. And I thought, man, like, I think I just want to go back to the Good and the Beautiful. And so I finally did, and I posted a video about that. But I decided to go with the 3rd grade level because he's already at the end of 2nd grade. He's very like he's a hard worker. He's my kid that will, whatever schoolwork I put in front of him, he will do it, and he will do his very best at it. So we started the 3rd grade level of the Good and the Beautiful, but I just was kind of feeling like it was a little bit much for him, like some of the writing. And I was just like, is this a little too much for him? Like the independent practice is a little bit too difficult for him. So I was like doing it with him. And that was another thing I really liked. All About Reading had no independence. And The Good and the Beautiful has at least 1 page of independent practice. And when he was in like kindergarten and 1st grade, he did that pretty independently. I'll kind of get him set up, like, okay, this is what you need to do, and he would do it. So I started to get worried about that, like that maybe the 3rd grade level was a little bit too much. And then I shared my video about their literature, and I still stand by, I do not like their literature at all. I think it's a very like the legalism of the Mormon religion is just coming out in their literature, and I think it's very like censored and watered down type of stories, and I just don't like it. I think if the stories were different, I like their idea of like the parent reading and the child reading and all that. I like that, but I don't like the way it's done. So we were just doing our own readers. We were doing Sunlight level 3 readers, which we have really enjoyed those, and he can read them. Like, he can read Sunlight Level 3 chapter books, which are not easy, but he struggles to read on his own. And maybe some of you moms have a kid like this, so maybe you can, he's my first kid that I've like taught to read by myself. I didn't start homeschooling Carter until he was in like 4th grade. So he had already been reading. He already, obviously knew how to read and was reading independently. So this is my first kid to teach how to read, and he can read like, 3rd grade level chapter books. He can read them. And he's not like struggling or anything, it's tiring for him, but he can do it. And I'm not helping him with every other word or anything like that. But when I try to get him to sit down and read a book on his own, he oftentimes says that he'd rather me read it to him. Now, we do have some books that he will read, and I will ask him to, he'll read a chapter, and I'll have him tell me what happened in that chapter, and he seems to be able to do that. So he is able to read on his own, but there are just a lot of books that he'll tell me, I just rather you read it to me. And I just feel like maybe kids start taking off and reading at different times, and maybe I'm just being impatient. But I just feel like his reading level it's like on grade level, or maybe even 3rd grade, but maybe I'm wanting it to be above and beyond. So maybe I'm just giving myself too much of a hard time, and I'm trying to push him too hard. I don't know, but he'll often tell me he'd just rather me read to him. And that bothers me. I want him to start to enjoy reading on his own. So if you know how to do that, what my dad did, sorry if you hear my husband yelling, he's talking, not screaming, they're having fun talking to one of my kids. But anyway, so what my dad did is he took us to Barnes & Noble, me and my little sister, once a week, and let us get 2 or 3 books every single time. And we would devour those books. And so, and I am a big reader. I want to, maybe I'll show you guys a little bit in this video. I don't know, this video is probably too long, but I have my own reading nook in my dining room, and I've gotten into a really good routine, which routines is something I want to update you guys on. But I've gotten into a really good routine of reading every morning. I do my Bible, my devotional, and then I read different self-help books, and I read fictional books that I enjoy, and I love reading. And I hadn't read much since having my little kids. I kind of got out of the habit, but it's putting on an old sweater or riding a bike. I feel like once you're a reader, and you might fall off it for a time, but if you're able to find a way in your adulthood to fit in time to read, you do it and you love it, and it starts to spiral. And now my cute little organized area with my books has gotten way too overfilled, and I need to get a basket or something because it looks bad in our dining room. But anyway, so that is an update. I myself, I have been reading a ton recently and loving it. I will read in the morning during my morning time, which my morning routine is, I finally figured out a good morning routine, and that has been experimental this year. I actually took 2 weeks off of school for the kids and tried to work on some routines for us, and one of them was working on my morning routine. And I think that has been a part of my journey, has been working on my morning routine that sets me up for feeling good as the teacher and the mom for the rest of the day, which can sometimes be a hard day with siblings fighting and some kids not wanting to do their schoolwork, and it just can be an exhausting day. Homeschooling is not easy. It's a lot of work, and it's a big endeavor that you take on as a mom. So I need some of my drink. I love my Alanis. I tried to quit them, but I'm not ready for it. I'm on a weight loss journey, and I need them during this time. So anyway, figuring out that has been so helpful for me. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the books, the reading. So anyway, I wonder if I tried taking him to the library. I didn't really like the library as a kid. I was much more about Barnes & Noble, where there's all these new books and there's tons of selection, and I would spend hours picking out a book. And as I'm saying this, I don't know what that sound is, so hopefully y'all can't hear it, but as as I'm saying this, I think that's probably the solution. I have tried to take my kids to Barnes & Noble, but when they were younger, it was like chaos. Like one kid would be running one direction, one kid would be running the other direction. They'd be pulling down books, and it just wasn't fun at all. But I do feel like Jack, my second to youngest, he will be 6 in June. I feel like he's finally, he's still my like more defiant child, but he's finally like old enough to like understand to not run off and not pull books off, old enough to like go to a certain section and look for books. So it will just be my 3-year-old daughter that will still be a little challenging while we're there, but I think it's possible. So that's probably the solution, is we just need to go, we need to invest. Like I have been investing in books for myself. And, you know, we don't have a ton of like extra money, but I feel like when I buy books, that money goes to really good use. And it's honestly a lot cheaper of a hobby than many other things. So I think it's definitely worth it. That guy from I Will Teach You to Be Rich, he says that he will spend a ton on books. He talks about like living your rich life, spending a ton on what you love and cutting back on things you don't care about. He says, always buy books. So even he says to buy the books, but I think it might need to be like a part of our homeschooling budget or something, is just going to Barnes & Noble and buying books for the kids. I think that will help. So I want to try that over the summer. But I'm saying all that to say that I ordered The Good and the Beautiful level 2 for Henry. And I like expedited the shipping. So hopefully it will be here by like Monday or Tuesday. So for these last 2 weeks of school, we're gonna do The Good and the Beautiful level 2. I'm gonna try to do like 2 lessons a day because I know it's gonna start off really easy for him. But these are things that like are building blocks, and they're always good reminders. And so I don't think there's anything wrong. Like I'm not gonna skip it. I don't think there's anything wrong with going over those things again at the beginning of level 2. And we're just gonna get as far as we can for the next couple of weeks of school. And then I think I will still let him take June and July off, and we will start next year, just the beginning of the year, doing level 2 lessons at a time, and then start level 3. And they're only 120 lessons, and so we should still be able to finish level 3 in his 3rd grade year. But when I ordered level 2, I did not buy the readers. I only bought the booster box set, the booster cards, and the workbook. I did not buy the readers because I do not like their readers. I do not. So I was like, save money there. So I do feel like this is a good solution, but I feel bad. I wish I would have started with the 2nd grade level, and I wish I would have just not done Logic of English or All About Reading. But if I hadn't done those things, I wouldn't have understood that The Good and the Beautiful works best for me when it comes to language arts. At these younger levels, learning to read and phonics and early writing, it's just so like everything, even the spelling. See, they've improved their levels too, because the spelling is better than it used to be. So even the spelling is very like concise, and then there's writing, but it's very concise, and then there's learning to read, very concise. Like as a busy mom, like I can only, and we like to do activities. We like to go to park day and spend hours. Once a week, our homeschool group has a park day, and we go there and we spend hours at park day. So we try to get all our schoolwork done before we leave, and then we go spend hours at park day. And so I'm like, we just don't, and we have tons of other activities we do, and we just don't have time to spend forever on our subjects. So I think streamlining them, but making sure, like, most importantly, they need to be learning. That's the most important thing. Well, I think being outside, playing with kids, other kids and stuff like that is really important too. But, they definitely need to be learning, but I don't think it needs to be this like super drawn out, long process. I really like how all the memories we create when I work on The Good and the Beautiful language arts with my kids. So anyway, we're going back to 2nd grade level. I wish I would have done that from the beginning, even if just when I switched back to Good and the Beautiful, I had picked the 2nd grade level. I feel bad, like he has just been this total guinea pig this year, but at the same time, I know that this is kind of, I would have always in the back of my mind been like, well, what if I do something else? What if I do this? What if I do that? And now I'm like, nope, for all of my kids, I am going, unless there's some kid that has like some major issue, but for all of my kids, when teaching them to read, we are gonna just do the good and the beautiful. Pre-K, like, so my youngest, who's 3, she's already started the pre-K level because she's just very school oriented. She wants to do school. She loves it. She's the youngest child in a homeschool family, you know. She wants to do school. She's already doing that. My 5-year-old kindergartner, he's doing the level K with the good and the beautiful. So he has struggled a little bit. Honestly, there's twofold with him. One is that he fights me, whereas Henry is like very determined to get his work done. Jack will fight me and like try to scratch off things, like half of what he's supposed to do on the page, and say he's only going to do a half of it and stuff. He's a little stinker, what can I say? And it's honestly pretty tiring working with him on his school. So I think I need something that is kind of comfortable to me, like Good and the Beautiful is something I've done with Henry, and so it's comfortable for me. I know what to expect, and streamlined as well. So we are doing that, but he has been struggling some. I mentioned to him that we might need to go back to the pre-K level, and he was not wanting to do that. He was like offended by that. So maybe that will motivate him, because really I think a big issue for him is just the motivation to do it, because he's very like smart and he builds things. He's artistic, like he can do this. He's just like fighting it. The other thing is, I feel like with the learning of the letters and everything, we were like moving and stuff. There's just been some crazy things in our lives when he was learning his letters. So I feel like that affects it a little bit, but more so it's just his attitude. So I am learning as a homeschool mom how to deal with that attitude, but I am sticking with it. I'm sticking with Good and the Beautiful, but I have learned I do not like their readers. At least 2nd grade on, I will not be using their readers. Kindergarten, I did like their readers. It's just like I dig and stuff, and it goes so well with what they have, and I bought their extra books, and those go so well with what they're learning. So I'm going to do that for kindergarten. I think 1st grade it was the same. Like, it was very just simple and sweet and whatever. It was like 2nd grade that I started to be like, okay, like my child is not a baby anymore, and they don't need things to be censored so much like this, and let's go to some real literature like Sunlight. Now, I may have Jack do the Sunlight 1st grade readers. I probably will like add that in. I feel like you can never get enough reading, so I probably will add that in with his Good and the Beautiful, but I do think I'll use their readers for him. So anyway, I just feel bad that I don't know. I feel like Henry would be farther along when it comes to reading if I had just stuck with the curriculum we were using from the beginning. I think he might be farther along, but I don't know. It may just be him and his journey, and I think going to Barnes & Noble and letting him search for books and buying books, I think will be a really good thing for him. And we actually plan on going with my dad, the one who took me as a kid. He wants to take the kids to Barnes & Noble this week and pick out a book for them, so super sweet. So we're already going to start that this week. We'll also do that at Target. You know, they have like a section of kids books, and when we go to Target, I'll usually let them get a book. So I try, but I want it to be like really consistent and just them figuring out what they enjoy to read. Okay, so next, math. Okay, so I also purchased something for math. So I told y'all for Henry, my 2nd grader, that we switched to the Good and the Beautiful math again. Well, we finished his 2nd grade Math with Confidence. We didn't necessarily switch like midway. We finished Math with Confidence 2nd grade, and then I went to the Good and the Beautiful 3rd grade. I haven't loved it. I don't know. So I need a sip of my drink for this. I ordered Math with Confidence level 3. Now, as of right now, I'm planning on doing both. I don't know. Rachel from 7 and All says she made a really great video on math and the mistakes homeschoolers make with teaching math. And one of them was using one math curriculum. And she's really the one that inspired me to try multiple math curriculum. I love math. I love math. So maybe we'll just do both, the Good and the Beautiful and Math with Confidence. I don't know. But I just have felt like, first of all, the games stink, like totally stink in the Good and the Beautiful level 3. Math with Confidence level 2 had way better games, even though it's a lot more work for me because I have to keep track of all these playing cards and all these different things. But I think that one, like Logic of English and All About Reading, it didn't feel worth it to me when The Good and the Beautiful was just a concise version of those curriculum. It was just like easier to the point, or not easier for the kid necessarily, but easier for me to deal with, to the point, a really good solid foundation, I feel. Math, on the other hand, math. I just feel like we're starting multiplication, and all they're doing in The Good and the Beautiful for multiplication is just telling you to just memorize your math facts. That's it. There's no like understanding like what's happening with the math facts, at least so far in what we've done. And I just know Math with Confidence will be so much better at that. But the main reason I'm getting it is because of the games. That was like, well, probably the main reason is that I don't feel like they're doing a good job teaching multiplication. But then number two is the games, because my son loves the games, lives for the games. I think a big reason I was switching to The Good and the Beautiful is because I heard they have videos in level 4. And I was like, finally, I can just have him watch a video and just be done with him. And that was such a bad mentality to have, a bad mentality. I honestly love doing math with him. It's so much fun to spend that one-on-one time with him. Why would I want to rush ending that when soon enough it will be over? It's just such a motherhood thing. It's like we feel like we need to rush certain things in motherhood, but then soon enough it's over and we miss it. And I know that. So I feel like I just need to get organized. Now we moved and everything, and I've spent so much time trying to get organized in this room. It's not a natural knack of mine, but it's a desire of mine to get organized. So I think in the moving, that has been hard for me to get the math together, but this summer there will be no moving. I can focus on this room, really getting it set up nicely, and a part of that focus is going to be getting the math situation organized for both Jack and Henry. So Jack, I switched to The Good and the Beautiful kindergarten. So I've switched like 3 times for each kid. I don't know. I got sick of Math with Confidence. I liked it at the beginning, the kindergarten, but then halfway through I was like, I'm sick of this. So I have been enjoying The Good and the Beautiful level K actually way more than Math with Confidence kindergarten. So it's kind of weird how that is, but I think now I will, for all my kids, for Jack, he's going to finish the math, The Good and the Beautiful kindergarten. We just stopped Math with Confidence kindergarten. And then Charlie, I think, will do The Good and Beautiful kindergarten. For all my kids, I just like it better. It's more streamlined. I like it better for them, but I'm not sure about first grade. I know second grade I want to do Math with Confidence because it was just so much better. I've never seen their first grade Math with Confidence, so probably what I'll do is get both The Good and the Beautiful and Math with Confidence and just see. So anyway, I don't know, guys. Another thing I feel like I messed up this year was we did gymnastics at the beginning of the year. That was a really big dream of mine, and my husband was like, okay, let's do it. Put him in gymnastics. First of all, it was very expensive, like extremely expensive. Second of all, it took up a lot of our time. It was like 2 days a week, like during the day, because it was a homeschool gymnastics class, which was a little bit cheaper than the afternoon gymnastics class. And it just took up so much of our time when we have all these other extracurriculars we're doing, and it just didn't make sense. And so it was with a heavy heart that I canceled that. And even though I feel sad, like Jack was doing the monkey bars like so easily when we did gymnastics, and at the park the other day he was like struggling to do them, like he's already regressing. So I feel like we just need to do our gymnastics at home, you know what I mean? Like have my kids work on the monkey bars when we're at the park, and have them do stretches and exercises at home, you know. That's kind of my idea, because I think gymnastics is so good for the body in that way. And we'll probably still go to open gym, homeschool for like fun when we have the time, but it was just too much. One thing I learned from gymnastics and just in general this year is that any of our extracurricular activities, they need to be in the afternoon. I need to treat them still. I think, since we homeschool, we can just do them whenever, you know, we can do our extracurriculars during the middle of the day. Well, we're still schooling, and so then it just breaks up our day, and there's all the traveling back and forth that takes time out of your day, and then your mental space, you're like out of the mental space for school by the time you get back. It just doesn't work. And so for us, it works best to get all our schoolwork done first, and then go to our activities or our park day or our play dates or whatever in the afternoon. That's what works better for us. So that's another. All right, sorry guys, my camera battery died. I don't know how much longer it's gonna last, but I basically, to sum it up, I am going to, in this next school year, really try to stick to what we're doing with the things that I have figured out just work. I'm not going to put it on myself like you're not allowed to change at all, because I do think all this exploration this year was not for nothing. You know what I mean? I learned a lot, and I think that it will be good for my kids. It's frustrating when I feel like, oh, I should have just stuck with the Good and the Beautiful Level 2 language arts and done different readers for it. But it is what it is. I learned my lesson, and moving forward, I am going to stick with the Good and the Beautiful language arts, at least for pre-K through like 2nd and probably 3rd grade, and then we'll see from there. And then I also am pretty determined to do classical conversations this next school year. The group I want to join is still looking for a building, so that's kind of up in the air, but I'm really hoping they find a good building, and I'm really hoping that our best friends join it with us, and I think it'll be just a really good fit. All the exploration I did this year as well really made me realize what a good fit classical conversations will be for us for many reasons. We explored 2 communities, so it wasn't like I just kind of thought about CC but didn't like do my research. Like, we explored multiple communities, and we are picking what is best for us. We've experienced the day, and we know what to expect. So anyway, I'm really hoping that we can get signed up for that soon once they have a building, and that will be for sure sticking with the Good and the Beautiful language arts, for sure doing classical conversations for like our history and our extras type thing. I do want to combine Sunlight with classical conversations, so I'll probably do a video on that because I really love all of the books. I might just read the books though from Sunlight, like not really follow their like list. So I might just buy their books and not even like their questions that they do for the books, but just kind of use it as like a list, a guide for books that we might like to read. And that it pick the history that goes along with the classical conversations history for that year. And then for math, I am still, I think 2nd grade math with confidence was really good. I think I just need to get more organized. So my guess is for this next school year, we'll probably end up dropping the Good and the Beautiful again and doing math with confidence, but I'm still leaving that open-ended, and I'm giving myself a break on that. I really do think it's an organization issue on my end though, and a laziness issue of just thinking, oh, I just want him to have videos to just watch. I've decided, no, forget that. Like, he will eventually do an online math program. My oldest does Shorman math online, and that's been wonderful. That starts in pre-algebra. I am trying to put my kids like on a track for math where they will be able to do Calculus 1 junior year of high school and Calculus 2 senior year. And in order to be on that track, you have to be a little bit ahead, but you don't have to be a ton ahead if you use Shorman, because Shorman does geometry combined. So you get a half credit during your Algebra 1 year of geometry and another half credit during your Algebra 2 year of geometry. So my oldest has done, he's finishing up Algebra 2 this year, and he will have Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and a full credit of geometry. And so since they do that, that allows me to not rush as much, which I appreciate, to be able to get my kids to do calculus in high school 1 and 2. We actually don't even need to be ahead. We just would skip level 7. We would do, which actually Math with Confidence only goes up to level 6. So we would just, the Good and the Beautiful does have a level 7, which I think there's a reason Math with Confidence only goes up to level 6, because most people, well, not most people, but you really shouldn't need a level 7. You should just be going on to pre-algebra, is what I think Math with Confidence thinks. I don't know. I may be wrong about that, but I think if you are like an above average math child, math learner, then you should be able to go from Math 6 to pre-algebra. And so that's my plan for Henry. And so then that means I thought I was going to have to like speed through math level 3. That's why we've already started it this year, which I didn't think was going to be a problem because we easily finished Math with Confidence level 2 this year with a lot of interruptions with moving and everything. So I knew that wouldn't be a problem, but I like now that I won't feel rushed, and we can just do, you know, in my mind, what I'm telling myself is I will do one-on-one math with my kids up to math 6. And then after that, we will switch to an online program, most likely Shorman Math, because my oldest has already been the guinea pig for that, and we really like that. And they will start that in 7th grade doing pre-algebra with Shorman Math. And that's when I will, you know, say goodbye to doing one-on-one math with them, and they will have videos and all of that. But I think in the younger years, they really just need me. This is something else I also learned from Rachel from 7 and All, that she's like, a lot of parents are like looking for videos, or, you know, like there's, what is that, teaching textbooks out there, which a lot of moms said their kids had huge holes when it came to math, thanks to teaching textbooks. So you don't even realize it because your kid is just doing it online. It's so hands off, you don't even know what's happening. I don't want that. Kids need that one-on-one attention with math. I also want to make math fun. And math, The Good and the Beautiful was not making math fun. It was making it really boring. Even with their little stories, like this one has a lot of stories about China. My oldest could care less, and he actually likes history and stuff, but these stories are not engaging to him. And then the games are terrible. And so I want to go back to Math with Confidence. I'm glad we don't have to rush it, because I think to make math fun, I'm going to start adding in just like math games, board games and stuff like that we can do. And so instead of rushing, or not even rushing, but just like once we finish math 3, instead of moving on to math 4, I think what I'm going to do is just add in games and stuff. So anyway, we're still figuring it out when it comes to math, but I think we're almost there. I think we're probably going to stick with Math with Confidence, but, well, except for kindergarten. I like The Good and the Beautiful more for kindergarten, and I'm not sure about 1st grade. So my guess is I will like 1st grade Math with Confidence, but I don't know. So, but something about kindergarten, it just feels like it should just be sweet. You're just learning the numbers and singing songs about the days of the week and all of that. And it's very like low key, and I feel like The Good and the Beautiful does a good job at that, learning how to trace your numbers, all of that. So anyway, I think it's going to end up being Math with Confidence, and then maybe our other math curriculum is Math UC, because that's another math curriculum I really like. So we're still kind of figuring that out, but I think like I said, of sticking with The Good and the Beautiful for pre-K, language arts for pre-K to 2nd, 3rd grade-ish. I think I want to say I'm going to stick with Math with Confidence and maybe add in other math or math games, but stick with Math with Confidence from like 1st to 6th grade or 2nd to 6th grade. So anyway, we're figuring it out. I just feel bad that I'm like switching things, and I don't want it to be hurting my kids, but Henry is reading 3rd grade level Sunlight, you know, chapter books, and maybe he just hasn't found the right books that are exciting for him to read. And also, he does have an iPad, he plays Roblox and stuff, and that's really tempting. So I do keep, you know, I have rules around that kind of thing, and they are not allowed that during the day. They're not allowed to have their iPads until after dinner and shower time. But I don't know, maybe I should add in dinner, shower, and like individual reading, actually. Thinking that. Anyway, though, Jack, another update is my sweet Jack graduated from kindergarten. We're still doing kindergarten, but he had his kindergarten graduation. And through our homeschool group, it's very official. They wear their gowns, they get professional pictures taken, they sing a little song, you write this little bio about them. Henry did it. It was so fun, like remembering when Henry did it and seeing Jack get to do it. And we just had a blast with that. It's such a sweet little special thing that I think is so cute and makes that child feel special, and like school is exciting and ready for 1st grade and everything. So anyway, that is just an update. That was fun. So my battery's dying. I probably should finish up this update. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. I really want to do like a slapback video about some of the comments on my The Good and the Beautiful video. The reason I think partly I haven't posted in a while, 1, we've been busy, but 2, I had like an intense video planned in response to some people about The Good and the Beautiful that I was talking about with their literature. And I felt like I was too intense and it was going to border on mean, and I just wanted to take a breather. It probably would have been a much more interesting video, but I think it was probably best. My intuition was to take a breather, so I did, but I will make a video. You guys may not even understand what I'm saying here, but anyway. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Click the bell to be notified when I post new videos, because I'm not always super consistent, so that will give you a notification that there is a new video. And I really appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.